Well, we're here at RELFest 2025. I'm here with Jani, and we're going to talk about the conference as well as eDiscovery and AI. Jani, welcome. I like starting these out by talking about our guests' backgrounds and how they got into eDiscovery. So why don't you tell everyone watching how you started out in eDiscovery?
Sure, yeah. So I went to law school, graduated in 2011, and it was a very oversaturated market for attorneys back then. So I was like, what else can I do with my law degree? And I found a doc review attorney position, and I thought, that sounds kind of interesting. I have no idea what it means or what it entails, so I just showed up, did an interview, got the role, and then, got put on my first project, I think a couple months later. And that started all of my lifetime in eDiscovery. I went from doc review, I moved over into application support, so I worked really heavily on the tech side of it that way. And then I went into project management, and I loved that even more because I got to really be hands-on with the tools, the clients, got to know everything, the full scale, EDRM and everything, and it was great. And then one of my primary clients moved over to DaVita, and she said, hey, you want to come over and work with me? We're building out the eDiscovery group here. And I said, that sounds great. And so that's where I'm at now. I'm at DaVita, and I love it. We're a really small but mighty internal eDiscovery team.
Okay.
And I'm really happy there.
From a point of view of like working at a provider to now working at a corporation, what are the big differences that you knew?
Huge differences. Yeah. I would say one of my favorite things is work-life balance. I absolutely love it. I love that it's very important to, especially at DaVita, one of the core values is fun. So we have a good time because, we have such a very difficult job. We're, kidney care. It's a struggle. You have
Sure.
a lot of end-stage patients. There's a lot of people that are dying. And so the whole company is very into making sure that we have a light and some happiness to our jobs.
Sure.
And knowing that even though I don't personally impact the clients, the actual people getting dialysis, what I do is really important. So I love the work-life balance that having an in-house job offers. I also really like the variety of cases. I do everything from internal investigations, regulatory matters for when we're doing like mergers and acquisitions and joint ventures and stuff. We have huge corporate litigations. We have slip and fall cases, like all the full gamut. We see it all, and I get to dip my toes into a little bit of everything. Versus when I was at a vendor, I mean, obviously doc review is one thing, but when I was project managing, I had specific clients, and mine were all very pigeonholed. A lot of them were like banking specific, or they were attorneys and law firms that represented banks. So It was, the same types of cases and matters constantly. So, doing the same types of day-to-day activity all the time, versus now I do a lot of different things. And I also have a very good impact on, what new tools we get to bring in, what type of stuff we get to work on, things that are more important, and I get to really get involved. And I learned all about legal holds coming to this job. So that was something totally new for me.
Sure.
So I really got, I've got a really great place there, and I really like the in-house work. The vendor was fun. I learned a lot doing that.
Sure.
But I'm really happy to be, corporate work now. So
sounds like DaVita's a good fit for you.
It is a great fit for me. Now,
from a standpoint of your role, are you more managing people doing the work for you, or are you still hands-on using software and applications?
So I don't personally manage any one so much as I do a lot of like the incoming matter stuff. So I kind of evaluate what comes in, look and see, like maybe who would be best to run the project, what we might need for it. But I also do manage a lot of my own matters as well. So I still am, in relativity running my searches, very hands-on, very tech forward. But also getting to be a part of the team that decides what new tools are we going to use, is what we're doing saving money for, our company in the long run with our eDiscovery, without, having to outsource everything. And so I get a little bit of both. I'm very hands-on in the matters, but I'm also, helping to just manage the eDiscovery work that we do as a whole.
Okay. So it seems like you're managing not just the costs, but the return on investment and the risk.
Yep.
And also because it is healthcare, it's the HIPAA.
Yes. Yes.
Can you go into that, how that may be different than maybe running all the banking cases you mentioned before?
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of HIPAA, but we also do risk stuff. Obviously it involves different searches and stuff that we run, and also like making sure that we're very secure with everything, what we send out, what we take in, what we're putting on hold. It's very interesting. It's very different. I like, I don't know, I like learning about it. We do a lot of anti-kickback stuff too.
Okay, sure.
Which is, that's a lot in our like regulatory matters. It's a very niche thing, and it's super hard. So we're actually going to start maybe looking at some AI there.
Okay.
Because we haven't really jumped into the AI boat too much internally yet. As a healthcare company, we are very, like slow, security forward, super regulated. So
Right.
it's taking us some time to really get into things like that and get involved. But it's like needle in a haystack kind of matters, So like, how do you know what to find when you don't know what you're looking for?
Sure.
You don't want to find people talking about, price fixing including. So like, how do you find those things if they shouldn't exist, and like the terms that people use? So I'm excited to see what AI might be able to help us with there, and natural language, looking at documents that way.
Sure. Now you brought up the term of the moment, AI. I think that's ILTACON and now RELFest. Both have so many sessions and events around discussions around AI. Are there any of those sessions you're going to while you're here?
Yeah. So I actually did one this morning.
Okay.
I went
Great.
to the mock, like trial-y, whatever discussion thing with Judge Pack.
Okay.
Who I think is an absolutely fabulous human being. Super nice, and he's extremely smart. It was a really, really cool session. I really enjoyed it. It was funny and entertaining, but it was like you got to be kind of involved with it more.
Okay.
So you watched him kind of do like a whole mock, argument, like, we want to use AI for our review, and then the opposing side saying, well, we want to see this, 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 and this out of it. And then, the final judgment of, would you allow AI for review if you were a judge? Would you say this sounds like a good idea? And I thought it was really interesting. And it's kind of like they, went back and talked a little bit of how when TAR was the beginning thing, and
Sure.
how everyone was all hot button around that. And now it's like, well, realistically, as they say, the reviewers are more, inaccurate than the technology is. And if we're getting better and better and smarter technology, why not use it? So that was my favorite panel so far. I haven't gone to a lot of them, obviously, day 1.5, really.
Okay.
But I'm also looking forward to the DSAR one that they have tomorrow.
Okay.
Because we've actually started getting a couple of them in. I know California does DSARs, but we're getting them from the UK.
Right.
And they're very complicated, and they're not the easiest, most like straightforward thing to run, especially for us, and like, working with our counterparts overseas. And of course, sometimes the people who are looking for the DSARs are a little, I don't know, touchy and not the easiest to work with, of course.
Sure.
So they're very like, I just want everything. Just give me all the stuff. But then you're like, well, I can't just give you everything, so it becomes like an extensive, way too voluminous review, and more expensive than you should be spending on something like a DSAR, right? So I'm intrigued to see what they have to offer for that, because I know it's talking about like workflows for DSARs, and that's something that we need to actually evolve. Because in case we get more, which I'm sure we will, there's always going to be people that want their information back. So I'm excited to see that.
So with your work, are you working with a lot of data that may be protected by GDPR as well?
Yeah, so we've done some things when we switched over, because we were one of those late bloomers to the M365. We've done a few things where we're able to do some better cross-collaboration between the US and UK with data sharing, because we're, for our company specifically related to these DSARs especially. I think some other things, but I'm not entirely privy to all of the things that go on that side, But we don't have as much of an issue, but we do utilize a UK instance for the data and make sure that things aren't necessarily touching the US servers so much, so that we're not like, cross-bordering with that portion.
Right.
But as far as like myself and my team accessing it, even though it's, UK data, we don't have any issue with that. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
AI, like I mentioned, is a big topic, for all these conferences over the last year. Do you see, from a standpoint, if you look forward like 5 years to 2030, what a AI-enabled legal team may look like?
Oh goodness, I have no idea. I mean, I can only imagine. I feel like I hope that it's still very much like us people focused, of course, too, because there's always going to be some need for somebody pushing the button, somebody making sure that things are working. But like, I'd expect that people are going to be a lot more well versed and well trained in the AI, and not only that, but like how to actually do prompts. To me, I think that's like the most scary thing about the AI stuff. Like I've used ChatGPT and I'm like, I don't even know what to ask it.
Right.
Like it's the prompt thing, I think, is something that will evolve and people will really get to learn how to do. And then I think it's going to end up being like, that's our first pass review. That's our, where we start with. But then we'll still have the teams, the outside counsel or in-house counsel, like privilege specialty people that look at certain things. There's going to always be some validation and QC that has to happen along the way. But I think it's really going to help us in the long run. I mean, I hope so. I really do. And I'm excited to get more involved in it and to test out more of the capabilities. And just even from the keynote today, like hearing about all of the different things that are coming and all of the case building strategy that's available. And like even the depot stuff, like taking the transcript videos and it just can list it out for you, pinpoint it right in the, I'm like, I thought that looks awesome because we have terrible depot software in-house right now. And to have something else that'll work better, I know our council will absolutely love that. So
yeah, I think what you said is actually the best. I've asked a number of people this question. The best answer, like, I don't know, but I hope.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think, we're helping people right now with using AIR for privilege and review. And we see a huge savings of time, like just not time of like billable time, but like time to completion. Right.
Faster.
So yeah, speed to information, ability to pivot. I think as time moves on, it's going to move to the left of the EDRM, right, and help you identify documents that you want to collect.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Help with the data mapping and data governance issues that are intertwined.
Yeah.
Right. Like
the overly excessive collection problem, right?
Sure.
Eliminate some of that.
Yeah.
Because I know we struggle with that a lot ourselves. So I think if that's something that can help us, I look forward to it.
Or actually flagging the documents where they sit, like first copy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, this could be a compliance issue, or this falls under maybe a DSAR issue, right? Where the data is instead of moving it. I think there's a lot of areas for AI, but it's also the validation piece of it. We see that now, right? We help people with AIR for Priv, and there's still the validation of it because people want to know that they need to understand it's not a black box, how it works, the explainability of it. But when you're saving more than 50% of the time and money, and
time is money. So like
they're both and it's also like the saved time helps you make a decision sooner.
Yeah.
It saves you more time and more money.
Yeah.
It's almost this cascading effect of like, hey, if we can get done with this now and figure this out now, we're not going to have to do X, Y, and Z and get other people involved and spend more money just to get to the same, either there's nothing here, or maybe we should settle, or maybe we should change something.
Yeah.
And especially with your portfolio of like internal investigations, commercial litigation, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that could be used, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to see how it progresses. I mean, it's crazy how far it's already come. And, I just can't wait for what the future has to hold with potential, capabilities in AI.
It is exciting.
Speed.
Now, there's about a day and a half left of the conference. Is there any other sessions you're excited for?
I think I'm just gonna, the DSAR one, I think I'll also do I think there's another international one that I was looking at.
Sure.
Otherwise, just general ones about AIR review and just kind of seeing some hands-on like examples and whatever, and probably go walk down and check out the vendor section down there too, just to see if there's little demos going on or anything new, and maybe get a massage because they're down there and make you feel good. There's a little wellness area.
Okay.
Get some aromatherapy, a little neck massage.
Wellness in legal services, I don't know if those are usually said in the same paragraph.
Not always, but there's coffee right next to it too, so it'll wake you up
sense.
after you get a sleepy massage.
Sleepy massage. Well, thank you very much for being a guest. We enjoyed having you. If you have anything else you'd like to say?
Not necessarily, but this has been a pleasure. I don't know, I find it just fun to talk about tech and eDiscovery and I love getting to pick people's brains and having them pick mine. And, it's just kind of nice to learn new things, talk about stuff. And obviously, if I didn't love it, I wouldn't be here. So, yeah, thanks.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.